seminars, we did sermons, we did lectures, we taught classes, we taught Hebrew classes. I also became a member of the couple Christian groups, the Pastors Alliance for County Transformation, the Impact Prayer Center, and attended many prayer summits over the years. These were prayer retreats with our Christian brothers and sisters. Then something miraculous happened, and it was an answer to prayer. And Shoresh all of a sudden doubled in size. That's when...
Maybe tripled.
I wasn't going to say that. My wonderful multi-talented partner, Isaac Roussel, joined Shoresh to do some work with me. So Isaac, why don't you tell us a little bit about your part in Shoresh?
Yeah, so I started out basically just kind of filling in for Alan if he couldn't make it to a particular gig, speaking at a church or at a campus ministry, and then did a number of those and did some seders at churches and so forth. And then I decided to branch out and to take on more controversial topics. One of those topics was when the movie The Passion came out. A number of my Christian friends couldn't understand why the Jewish community reacted so negatively to that movie. And so I put together a talk to explain the history of the unfortunate history of the church and its persecution of the Jewish people. So I gave this talk at a church, and when I got done, you could have heard a pin drop. And I was a little worried they were going to tar and feather me out back. But as I was leaving, a number of people just said, "Thank you for letting us know. We had no idea about this history." So that kind of added a new, interesting dimension to Shoresh with some more challenging type topics such as those. My favorite work, though, has been in the last several years is back again on campus, working with campus groups. Young people are great to work with. They're interested, they're eager for new ideas. And I've spoken with a number of groups, both at Eastern and U of M, and they're a great bunch of people to work with, and still occasionally speaking at churches as well.
So even though Shoresh is no more, our vision lives on, and the numerous relationships and friendships formed over the years. I'm still an active member of the PACT Association, and I still go to the prayer summits regularly. We'd like to offer all of you our sincere todah, our sincere thanks for making the Shoresh journey possible, and for sharing our vision and making it a reality through your prayers, encouragement, and support. We know that the seeds planted over these many years have taken root. May we see their fruit speedily and in our day.
We're now going to move on to talk about the development of our liturgy over the years. This has been quite a journey for us, culminating in our Siddurim. These beautiful Siddurim. So Alan, can you give us the Bereshit, the in the beginning perspective of our liturgy?
Sure. We may not be large, and we may not have grown huge in numbers, but we have grown and made tremendous strides in our liturgy. From our humble beginnings way back as the Ann Arbor Messianic Jewish Congregation in 1993, Rabbi Mark always made sure we stayed close to main sections of liturgy, passed down as a holy progression through our Siddurim and into our synagogues, and to always be centered on Yeshua, not as a mere add-on, but rather incorporated as the heart of our service. After all, Yeshua is our Kohen Gadol, our high priest, as well as our Shliach Tzibor, our prayer leader. So we then, using these as an incentive and as a central anchoring point, forged ahead in our development of the liturgy.
So what was the next big step in our liturgy journey?
Well, as we progressed on the liturgical evolution, the next big step was the purchase of our first Sefer Torah, our Torah scroll. Believe it or not, CZA did not have a Torah in the beginning. So this involved not only purchasing the Torah, but learning how to lame, to read from the Torah, studying trope. We then had to train people to have aliyot, to be able to come up to the Torah, to say the blessings. And we had to make all the furniture for it and purchase furniture. The ark, we had to convert my old drafting table into the reader's table, and that took some prayer along with physical.
Still take prayer.
Along with physical ramifications. So there's a lot involved in putting together the first Torah service. And then our inaugural Torah service and dedication happened on June 7th, 1997. This left an indelible impression upon me and our congregation. This was the center of the service, the reenactment of Sinai with Yeshua, the living Word, the living Torah, truly at the center, among us and in us. That mysterious presence was now a reality. It was profound, and it still is. It is hard to imagine CZA without a Sefer Torah prior to that. This was followed later by a gift by Rabbi Mark's father, Ben Kizzer, Zikrono Livracha, of blessed memory, when he donated our second Sefer Torah in memory of his beloved wife, Marion Kinzer, Zikrono Livracha, of blessed memory.
But there was still something missing from our liturgy. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, the next milestone for me was the incorporation of the Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing at the end of the Amidah. I remember finally discussing with Rabbi Mark and studying the Second Temple liturgy of long ago. Again, a profound addition given the primacy of the Amidah and its connection to Israel's offerings and priestly service. The presentation of Yeshua as our eternal Kohen Gadol, blessing us from the sanctuary on high, at the end of the Amidah, was, as Rabbi Lawrence Hoffman would put it, heating up the ritual. It was red hot. Sensing the need to move us on to the next level of devotion to Hashem, Rabbi Mark convened our modern liturgy committee, later headed up by Isaac Roussel. Why don't you share a little bit about that?
In our liturgy. The format was also rather difficult to follow, and so one of the other goals that we had was to format our Siddur in a very readable fashion. And we wanted it to be accessible to both somebody who was very competent in Hebrew and also to a visitor who didn't know any Hebrew at all. And so what ensued was Alan and I spending hours upon hours. We didn't count them, Larry. Where Larry's at? There he is. We didn't keep track of them. I probably should have, but I may not want to know. We tried different layouts. Would this work? How's that? We would look at different things, and Alan made the trip out to my office at work many nights, and we would literally project up on the wall like we're doing here with that projector the liturgy and look at it together and make edits and that sort of a thing. And we finally came up with something that we were pretty happy with. After that, as Larry already discussed, we handed over, once we had a final copy of the liturgy, to the assembly, the printing and assembly team. And that was even more, 400 plus hours of work in doing that. And the final product of that is a lovely, beautiful Siddur. We have a number of them up here. You can come up afterwards and take a look at it if you would like. Something that we're rather proud of, and now we kind of feel like a real shul.
Yeah.
Nice Siddurim. So, did you just give you that word? So Alan, before you go, we've talked about Shoresh, we've talked about liturgy, but are there any personal reflections that you want to share?
Looking back, I experienced the hand of Hashem in my life personally and in the formation of life and lives of CZA corporately. Our Rabbi Mark, I believe, is Messianic Judaism's preeminent theologian. And he lives out his theology, and that's something really important. It's not just abstract, it's a reality for Rabbi Mark. This also permeates CZA. As I mentioned, we're on the cutting edge. We're a prototype, and we're a vanguard. That was in the song, and it was purposely put in the song. We're small, but we're crucial, and we do make a difference. For the Messianic Jewish world, for the wider Jewish world, for the Christian world, and for Tikkun Olam, the world. I've been in countless meetings, Hashivim in Florence, rabbinical councils, etc., where what we have implemented and lived out at CZA for years is now just being discussed and contemplated for the future of other synagogues. May Hashem continue to use us this way in His divine plan. Why don't you share some of your reflections?
Okay then, thanks. I totally agree with what you said. Just a few weeks ago in one of our board meetings, as we were praying for the future of our congregation, I said, you know, our congregation is like an incubator. It's this testing ground to prove out how a Messianic Jewish community can live and grow and breathe and flourish. And as I was saying that, it felt like it wasn't my words come out of my mouth, but Hashem's words. It was really startling as I said it. I would say I've learned many, many things over the last 20 years, but the chief and foremost thing as I thought about it that I have learned is that it's all about relationships. It's all about community. Not only relationships with Hashem, but our relationships with each other. Judaism teaches us to treat each other with respect, dignity, and love. And certainly Yeshua taught that as well to his Talmidim. And sometimes this means that we have to take care of one another with times of distress, to love one another sometimes when we don't feel like it, I wasn't looking at you specifically, but to just, you know, live in a community of commitment to one another and to love one another. And I think that is the greatest lesson that I've learned from my years at CZA.
If we could have the lights down again and the Ross could come up. There are 4 people who have been important in our life as a congregation, who we wish could be here, who are not here physically in the flesh, but I think in another form, I believe they're very much with us here. And we thought it was really appropriate for us as a congregation, as we are celebrating our anniversary, to also remember them. And I believe that Baruch Hashem, that they're remembering us as well, remembering us before the throne of heaven. And so we're just going to take a minute to remember these 4 people and say just a very few things about them. Most of us know them well, and this is just an opportunity for us to reflect again on the role they played in our life as a congregation. And then together, or not together, I'll lead us in reciting the memorial prayer for them. First of all, Marion Kinzer. Born January 1920, passed October the year 2000. Marion and her husband Ben moved here to Ann Arbor to be close to Roz and myself in 1996, and they attended our congregation regularly during that time, the 4 years before she passed. My mother was, as I think you all know, sweet, simple, innocent, childlike, always smiling, incredibly affectionate. One of her nieces joked that they used to call her Aunt Kissy. Compassionate, lover of God, lover of people, especially a lover of children. Next, Ben Kinzer. Born April 1918, passed May 2010. Moved with my mother here to Ann Arbor in 1996, and for those 4 years, while she was alive, he brought her faithfully to our congregation on Shabbat. And so when she passed, I went to my dad and said, well, you know, Mom is gone, and you could now start attending the conservative shul. And my dad said, I think I like your services better. And so, faithfully, I could count on my dad being there, falling asleep as I spoke. He was generous to a fault, abounding in integrity, zealous for justice, unpretentious, full of wonder and gratitude for God's goodness to him in his long life. And someone who I'm just so glad could be part of our life and give the children that met him this connection to another world and another time.
Gladys Klein, born May 1936, left us September 2010. Gladys, our modern Eshet Chayil, the woman of valor from Proverbs. She was strong, full of faith, determined to carry out anything she set her mind to. She was fiercely loyal, embracing our messianic hope and vision as her own and making us her family. Gladys was with us from our earliest days, from dinners at the Solos in 1990, through our many permutations of our congregation until her passing in 2010, I'm sorry. Gladys, the die-hard Yankee fan, year after year came dressed as a New York Yankee at our pouring party. She loved to stand her ground. And so talented, she could make anything. Baskets, jewelry, tzatzkes, and a seamstress too. She fashioned the beautiful cover that adorns our reader's table today. She had zest for life, for learning, for engaging what was important to her faith. We're all made better by knowing Gladys. We miss her. Mel Berg, born April 1935, passed in January 2011. In a nutshell, Mel Berg, funny, sharp-witted, astute, nothing got past Mel. He was a deep thinker, always challenging the right issues, asking the right questions. Hardworking, capable, responsible, a true mensch. Mel Berg's relationship with CZA goes way back. He watched us emerge as a congregation in our earliest stage. As part of our first governing community, his input helped us develop our first constitution. Mel and Elaine, that is Mel and Elaine, went through immersion with us in 1993 in the Solos pool in Chelsea. We remember his humor and his laughter, but Mel also thought deeply about things that mattered, from family to Hashem. His friendship and support remained with us through all those years, along with his wife Elaine, and also through Dana, Mark, and their children Roslyn and Allison. Mel was especially missed when Allison was bat mitzvah shortly after he passed away. We are honored to remember him today.
O God, full of compassion, who dwells on high, grant perfect peace beneath the wings of your Shekinah, in the exalted places of the holy and pure ones, who shine like the splendor of the firmament. To the souls of the upright ones, these 4 upright ones, who have gone to their eternal home, may they rest in Gan Eden, May the compassionate one hide them beneath the shelter of his wings forever. And may he bind their souls in the bond of life. Adonai is their inheritance. May they rest in peace in their place of repose. And let us say, Amen. El malei rachamim shochein b'malim, hamitzei menucha nechona al kanfei hashechinah. B'ma'alot hakadoshim u'te'orim, kizohar harakia mazilim, et nishmot hayisharim v'hayisharot, she'alchu le'olamam. B'gan Eden tehei menuchatam, v'achein ba'al harachamim, yastirem b'sefer kenafav le'olamim. B'itzoror hachayim et mishmotehem, Adonai hu nachalatam, v'yamnuchu v'shalom al mishkotam v'nomar.
Amen.
Okay, let's have the lights on again. And I now want to invite the Torah ninjas up to give us a presentation. We need to, I think, move these two tables out to give them a little more dancing room.
Good evening, everyone. The Torah Ninjas and other kids wanted to take a moment to honor Raz and Deb for their time, dedication, and heart for teaching. While neither directly taught me, Deb's passion for Judaism and Mashiach and her encouragement of will to teach me had a direct impact on who and what I am today. So thank you for helping us to become more observant Jews.
I wanna be a more observant Jew.